Hello guys, it's your boy AD back with a video. Now in this video we're gonna be doing with Naruto had the rinnegan with banishing had the rinnegan part 2. So yeah, I was supposed to make this video yesterday actually, but yeah, there was too many people in my house, so I couldn't really do it at that time, and now I'm basically doing it at like 1 a.m. basically when everyone is asleep. So if I sound a bit like strange, I guess it's probably because I'm trying not to freaking speak too damn loud. But yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy and let me know what you guys think about this series so far, and if you want me to continue or not, and whatever other series you guys may want to see. Just type it down in the comment section, and I will eventually get to that. But without further ado, let's get the video started. So we're going to start this off with a long 3 years time skip basically, as we look inside of the Hokage's office to see basically the Hokage like sitting down in his office basically chilling as if nothing was wrong, as the village seemed to be prosperous, everything seemed to be just fine. As looking through the basically papers on the desk that had been placed there for them to basically keep track of everything, we see that they basically find a specific paper that stood out. It was a paper from the Fire Daimyo himself. It was more of a scroll actually, as this scroll was like basically had the Fire Daimyo still on it. Basically carefully opening it, Tsunade basically looked at it and her eyes widened as she saw it. There in the freaking on the paper was written out, "I, the Fire Daimyo, request that you basically send a team to this new area that has been seen to be quickly rising." Well, not really a new area. It was somewhat of an old area, but it was rising once again. Once again, it was basically Uzugakure once again rising and making themselves known as a new village, the fifth great-headed village. As this basically shocks Tsunade, not really hearing much about this before somehow. However, she did hear Joya mention something about some strange activities happening with the Akatsuki and many other groups and such. However, he did not pay too much attention to it, as they no longer had the 9th Tsuruki, and so they were no longer truly on the list of the Akatsukis to be a target basically. And so she was taken aback when seeing this news, as she sighed in somewhat annoyance, as he basically called in for Team 7 basically, as we see now an older Sasuke Uchiha with the same dark ass haircut basically, as he, along with Kakashi and Trash, basically Hono, come into the freaking office. And lastly was 2 other people, Sai and Yamato. Those 2 were placed to replace Naruto. Mainly Sai. He was put in by Dunzo himself. However, Yamato, or Tenzo, however you want to call him, was put in by Tsunade as somewhat of a counter to Danzo, trying to freaking put in the spies and such, as to basically say you can't control what's mine basically, and I still have control over basically the Uchiha, the last Uchiha, whatever. As they would basically go in and basically take the mission, as they would take a week to get ready. Getting After getting ready, the team will start to head off. After which we see Sakura trying to basically go up to Sasuke saying, "Oh, Sasuke-kun, will you please go on a date with me while we're there, basically at the new village or whatever." Even though it's probably gonna be not that good of a place, but still Sasuke-kun, you can still do it and whatnot. Sasuke would basically say no, he's not interested in her, and that he's basically already has his eyes on someone. As this would take the whole team, including Sakura and Kakashi and all them, by surprise. Even Sai would raise an eyebrow, wondering who the next person to get the freaking Uchihas, who would be basically passing down the Uchiha lineage. As Sasuke smirked a bit to himself, thinking about someone. She had long brown hair going down to basically her ass, basically. As she she was someone that he respected. He more or less saw her training or such fighting, and he saw that she was strong, and so wanting to have a strong bloodline and such, he wanted to basically have kids with her and whatnot, so the Uchiha clans could keep being strong even after what happened, aka the Uchiha massacre. As we basically continue this for a while, as basically they go and basically continue making their way towards the village. Meanwhile, we see that Gawa of the Sand was basically making his way out of his office after reading a certain document or scroll from the Daimyo of Wind, as they would also get something similar. However, it was much different at the same time. Instead of it being basically a letter, an order to basically go and make sure everything is okay, uh, it would basically say to go and check on our allies, basically. As this would happen, we see go over to the Hidden Stone Village perspective, as they would get a much more similar note to the Hidden Leaf Village, telling them to go and make sure everything is okay by the Stone Daimyo or Earth Daimyo. As again, we go over to the Lightning Village or Kirigakure, in a way. Iowa Gakure, Jesus Christ. As we see, pretty much very, very similar to the Leaf Village. However, it seemed a little less ordered, as in it was more of a big request, but less of an order, I guess. As you could still see that it was not really an option, but it was not ordered out as the Leaf was, like a watchdog. As a tag dog, as we basically skip over to the not land of waves, we skip over to Kiwi, as they received no letters. Actually, did not receive a letter, not because the daimyo was not interested, but because there was no daimyo, as the daimyo had been killed in the Civil War for supporting the old Mizukage, as the new current Mizukage, Meiteomi, had personally went there and killed him for supporting against the bloodlines and such. And this man had basically suffered from basically getting melted alive by lava from the inside out, basically. So, as this would happen, every single village would end up sending a team, almost as if the very tuning exams was happening. However, it wasn't. It was a simple meeting of such, sending a team of which they would be seen as negotiators or such, just to basically evaluate the situation. They were not to freaking hide and try to spy on people, but to go there and see and just simply talk and see what was going on. Maybe they could form an alliance, or maybe a war would start. Something would happen. The nature world would not be the same after this day, as they basically went there. After a few weeks, they all arrived seemingly at the same time. However, a few arrived a bit sooner and a few arrived a bit later, including the Kiwigakure basically, who, unlike the others, however, the Mizukage herself went there, not just sending a team, but she herself stepped up and going there. As this was quite a surprise for many of the people there. However, not everyone seemed surprised, as they were greeted at the gates. At the gates, they were greeted by a strange pair. One of them seemed to be holding a suitcase in his hand the whole entire time. The other one, he seemed to be holding a strange, long scythe with 3 edges at each side, as they seemed to be cursing, and you could hear them cursing each other out from the very moment you could basically arrive there. As one of them seemed to be threatening to rip off the other one's head, and the other one seemed to be gloating in harm to do so. A strange sight, however, did not pay too much attention to it, as once they arrived, the two had seemingly stopped and glared at them for a good second, seemingly as if testing them out, until their eyes landed on a few of them, being mostly Mei and Gao of the Sand, as this seemed to make them pause for a moment, until eventually they let them go. As not Gara, Tamari, my bad. I freaking messed them up because, yeah. Anyways, continuing. As they led them into the village, all of them went there, getting a place to stay for the night, a few inns and such. As they tried and tried, mostly the Hidden Leaf Village, the Hidden Stone, the Hidden Cloud, and they tried their best. However, everything they seemed to do was not working. The normal procedures seemed to be out of whack here. Everything from simple trying to use the chakra for simple things seemed to be completely cut out. Like they could not use the chakra properly in here, as if something was completely stopping them from using the chakra. As unknown to them, the entire village seemed it was simply in a specific area or space where it was completely surrounded by seals, which stopping anyone from even using the chakra for permission. And to get the permission, you need to be part of the village or be a haunted guest. As this would go on for a few days, with the village's teams basically going out of the way, stepping out of inns and where they're staying at, going up to civilians and ninjas alike, asking them various questions, trying to understand the situations, as they were very confused. until they had managed to find a few people and had basically been able to set up an appointment with the Uzukage. As this would go on, eventually, after a whole entire month of them waiting patiently, trying to get such information that they needed, essentially, they were called into the Kage's tower. This village and the Kage's tower in itself was very strange. Unlike the usual Kage towers, for example, the Hinley village seemed to be a simple tall building with a dome head at the top, made entirely of wood, essentially. This one was not exactly the same, as it seemed to be made of somewhat of a skyscrapers. However, it was not entirely futuristic. As you see, it seemed to be a blend between the futuristic and always good aspects, as well as the modern samurai like traditional buildings in Japan. Basically, if you look behind, you see how there's like a temple behind Naruto in this thumbnail. It's basically kind of like those for the gates and whatnot, and all the houses basically are kind of based off that. So it's basically a mix between those two. All the good parts are basically taken and used for the houses, and the Kage Tower seemed to be the biggest one. But it was not exactly right to say that though, as it was not just the Kage Tower, it was mixed in with a few other things, such as the General Scientific Headquarters Department, the Police Department, the Frinjitsu Department, the Science Department, and every other major departments, including the treasuries and such. However, it was not the entire thing. There was multiple other parts of it branching off all around the village, spread out. As they basically ended up going into the tower to see something very interesting, as it seemed as if the hidden, not hidden rain, fucking hell, Kyugakuri basically, or hidden mist village and the Sand village seemed to almost have been able to get a meeting before them, almost as if they were in on something that the others were not into. However, they did not pay too much attention to it, of course, as especially Sasuke Uchiha, who seemed to be a bit busy with something. As you see, Sasuke seemed to be more focused than he would usually be, as usually he would pay attention to his surroundings, he was too focused, not on the mission, however. He seemed to be thinking of a way to get what he wanted, being to be able to get revenge on his older brother and rebuild his clan. However, in the past 3 years, he had not heard news of his older brother. Not even once. Not a single word. He even looked into the group that he had been last said to be in, the Akatsuki. All he could find was that the organization was a group of X-Rank ninjas paid for hire, and they seemed to have been up to something big until they had the Nine Tails and everything just stopped afterwards. However, the strange thing was, while the Akatsuki seemed to have been off the map, the tail beasts had also continued to disappear until eventually very few to little to none of the tail beasts were left. However, nothing seemed to change apart from the strange village being made. Yet, they could not instantly say that it was this village is doing, could they? No, if they did that, it would start an unnecessary war with no evidence and nothing to back it up. They would be seen as the one to provoke the village to start a war for no apparent reason. And they did not even know if this village could even be a threat or not. Maybe they had something. What if it did have the tail beast, as they said, and they started a war with them? They would be crushed. And so, they need to be sure that the tail beasts were there or not. And if they were, they would need to get them back. Otherwise, they would be basically dust to them. Whenever they wanted to be destroyed, they could be destroyed by them. And they could not let that happen. No. As they would eventually get to a meeting with everyone arriving, after which they would see a strange person sitting at the table with purple eyes, orange hair, and many piercings all over his body. This person looked up, showing the strange purple eyes with ripple patterns, as this was Pain, or formerly known as Yaiko. This person was actually nothing but the illusion. However, not many could tell this. Only a very few people knew that this was an illusion. As you see, something had happened, something very big and very changing or revealing or eye-opening, if you will, as Pain himself was no longer a person. No, was no longer a sixth person, as it was only one. He no longer had been using the bodies to walk around, to do as he pleased, to do his bidding. As truly sitting at the table was the one Uzumaki Nagato, as he stared down the very members of the special team picked for these missions, as well as the few leaders that showed up, being mostly just basically May, as he stared them down, staring as if looking into their very soul, as he suddenly just put his hands in front of him, closing them, as he glared at them, ready to start the meeting. I am Nagato Uzumaki, one of the last Uzumakis alive, and I am here representing as the Uzukage. Are you people of the six? What the heck? I miscounted, but this is technically the sixth great nation, and basically Uzugaku is technically the sixth great nation, and those are the five. I miscounted that, my bad. But yes, are you people of the five great nations or great hidden villages ready to face Uzugaku and see if who should come on top, who should be able to escape, and who should be able to survive from pain? As the people felt a bit of a strange shiver going down their spines, feeling very confused, yet they knew that this person was strong. He was not playing on, and he was strong. They knew that those eyes were special. They knew that they were not safe, especially as they could not even use their chakra properly. None of them could. Well, none of them, but a very few individuals. As back at the villages, Tsunade seemed to be feeling especially strange, as she felt as if something extremely bad was coming, something that would make her and the entire village shake to its very core. And this feeling seemed to be shared by many others, as they all want an elemental nation. Many powerful people seem to feel this feeling. Entire villages seem to be almost as if the entire village, such as a few of the great nations and the allied people basically to the great nations, felt as if something was coming, something big, and they would not like it. This was basically what most of them felt. As in the Kage's walls, basically on the Kage's walls, there seemed to be a few picture frames, not just of the past Kages. However, there were a few specific people. They were the holders of the tail beast of the said village. All of them ended and never continued to get increased after the 3 years had passed. As you see, the host of the tail beast could not be they could not put a new one until a new host was picked. A new host could not be picked unless the old host died, or the tail beast was freed somehow and put into another being, into another human, a human sacrifice. However, this had not happened for 3 years. No new Jinchuriki were born. No new tail beasts had been freed. No new tail beasts had been created. The closest thing to having a tail beast at the moment seemed to be a very strange place that no one really knew about outside of the people there themselves. This was the Sukai Kingdom. Not Sukai. The Sky Kingdom, basically. Sky Fortress, whatever the heck that is, bro. Where the Zero Tails was kept in deep, deep, deep underground in the Blood Prison. There was one massive box. This was the Eternal Box of Truth, as a wish granting box. However, this box did not give off that feeling. It gave off something strange and ominous, as this box simply stayed there, not doing anything until the doors in the room that the box was in open, showing a group of guards basically dragging in a line of prisoners, as all of them seemed to be beaten, whipped. Their skin seemed to be peeling off, with no clothing on, as they seemingly shaked in either fear or from the cold, as they were dragged all the way up to the box until one of them was kicked into the box, as there seemed to be a mouth for each angle of the box, and they landed inside one of the mouths. They started to get sucked in there, falling, dragging along his comrades, or not really comrades, just chained prisoners, as they all were dragged into it, one by one, until there was no one left. Only the guards, as they all smiled. And this is what I'm gonna be leaving the talk. If you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I know this was kind of short-ish, I think, but yeah, this was kind of a build-up episode, if you will. The next episode will be much more action-filled and such, and probably gonna be longer, all the way up to probably gonna be one of the longer ones, if not pretty much the one before the last one, basically. As yeah, this is not really gonna be a long series, but yeah, it's kind of a comeback series, whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it either way, and let me know what you guys thought about it. And next, after this series is done, I will either do What If Naruto was Saruto or Whatever Won the Poll, which was so far, last I checked, was What If Naruto and Shion dated won the poll, if I'm not mistaken. But I will double check that again after uploading this. But without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, have a good day, good night, see you later. Jesus Christ.